Hi, BookTube. Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie. It's time for a library haul. So I have 4 books here from the library. I returned um, Strong Poison because I decided I wasn't in the mood for that. It was one of these things where I saw it and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this. And I got it from the library and I just was not feeling it. So sorry, I'm just not a detective story person. I know I went through Agatha Christie phase for a while, for a little bit, but and I did attempt it, but I just wasn't feeling it. I'm still sick. That's why I sound really crappy right now. Um, I'm trying not to gross you out with my coughing. And in fact, I was worried about that last night when I was giving out candy. So I had my dad. My dad ended up passing out the candy this year, but I sat that out there with them so I could see all the kids' costumes. And help if he had to get up and leave for a second. Um, and then I also I finished, what was the book I returned? Oh, What Moves the Dead. That was really good. I definitely like that retelling better than the original story it was retelling, which is the Fall of the House of Usher. But I do want to read it. I talked about it in my wrap up. Um, and that's one. The Fall of the House of Usher is one I need to reread. So I might change my mind, I might not. But I have a weird relationship with short stories. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. So those are the books I returned. And the one I kept that I'm still reading is well, actually there's more than I kept. There's 2 that I kept. But this is the one I started reading, which is Joe Hill's Horns. I wanted to squeeze that in for October, but I knew I wasn't gonna finish it. It's kind of long. It's like 50 chapters, so that's not terrible, but still compared to what Moves the Dead, it's kind of long. This is about this guy who wakes up after a crazy night with his current girl, first, our main character Iggy. He lost his girlfriend, the love of his life, who was murdered and raped, and he was the prime suspect. And people still believe he did it, even though his parents, who are very rich, and his dad's like a musician or something, or works with musicians. And his mom's was a former Las Vegas showgirl. Um, they get him off, but even they think, you learn later that even they think he did it. He killed her. So he's kind of become very cynical, does not believe in God anymore, and he's still hooking up with this one. He's been hooking up with this one woman, who I think is the girlfriend of a friend of his, and he wakes up after a crazy night with her, and has horns on his head. And wakes up with horns on his head, and he doesn't know what to make of it. He thinks they're an hallucination. And when the girl, Glenn is her name, doesn't notice them, he assumes that, okay, that means it's an hallucination. It is a hallucination. And she confesses something to him, that she, even though she's not hungry, she wants to eat the donuts that she bought. She wants to stuff her face with them. And he's like, I don't care, do what you want. And she starts stuffing her face, eating them like a animal, like a pig. And it kind of grosses him out, but he leaves. And when he goes to the doctor to have the receptionist and the doctor kind of confess some things to him too. So he starts to suspect that he has some kind of power, and these horns have some powerful effect. And he slowly starts hearing all these people, and they confess their feelings, their ugly feelings, and all the characters are very unlikable. And I'm curious about the reviews about this one already, because this not is because it's not because I'm not sure about continuing, because I'm intrigued by it. I want to keep going, but I wonder what other people think about this one, because the characters are really unlikable, and like characters that piss people off. Sometimes people don't like reading that book anymore. So I'm curious people's responses. Like, to this book because no one is really that likable in this book except for maybe his brother Terry, although even he sometimes seems unlikable. But although I think that's the point. These horns that he has on these devil horns, they are like bringing out the worst and most ugly sides of people, and that's the point. It is a very cynical book, and but so far it's pretty good, you know. And then the other book that I kept because I liked the other book I kept is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad Never After, and I believe it picks up where the first one left off, and I'm excited to read it because I love the first one, and I want to see where this one goes, and if we're going to run into some other familiar characters from her previous series, the Caraval series, because this one takes place in the Caraval world, but it's not Caraval, it's kind of explores more of the world beyond Caraval, and so I want to see if some of the other characters, because we did sort of meet the two main characters, Scarlet and Donatella. They have a little bit of a small part in the first book, so I'm wondering if we're going to see them again, and then maybe the other two characters in that book, the other two main characters. But I think I love that they brought back Jax, and he's kind of the antagonist in the story. And I say kind of because I don't know where it's going. But I like the spine color. I like how the spine is like, the first one was kind of a pink color. This one's kind of a light purple. So I really like that. So there's that. And then the new books that I brought home. So first off, I did watch the movie, and I did mention it briefly, talk about it briefly, and how I'm very nervous because a lot of people that remember the books better than I do are not happy with the movie, which is no surprise because Netflix has not been doing a very good job. In fact, I just saw a video where they're going to talk about the Witcher series and how Henry Cavill has decided after season 3 he's going to leave the show and be replaced by Liam Hemsworth. And that's not a good sign when your main actor leaves the show. I mean, hopefully Liam Hemsworth will do an amazing job, but Netflix has got a lot of criticism. No one's happy. People are not happy with Netflix, especially when they try to do original stuff. And I read the first two books years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. I read the first trilogy, and I didn't come back to it, but I've decided to come back to the trilogy, and after I was inspired after watching the movie. And this is the 4th book, and it's kind of a new story, the next trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. And this kind of is about no, I'll just read the description. The students at the School for Good and Evil thought they had found their ever after, but when they vanished, the malevolent schoolmaster. Little do they know that their world is about to grow bigger, and so are their stories. In order to graduate, everyone must complete a 4th-year quest for glory. Not only are these dangerous and unpredictable, but the stakes are high. Success brings eternal adoration, and failure means obscurity forever. For their quest, Agatha and Tenarus are trying to return to Camelot to its former splendor as king and queen. For her quest, Dean Sophie seeks to model evil in her own image, but soon they all feel themselves growing more isolated and alone. When their classmates' quest plunge into chaos, however, someone must lead the charge to save them. If good and evil can't find a way to work together, neither side will survive. So that is Quest for Glory, and it sounds fun and exciting. And I like how it flips the tropes, the fairy tale tropes on their heads a little bit. I think that's really fun that they do that in the series. That's what that series is about. And I think the movie tried to do that, stick with that theme, but I think it failed because people who have not read the books who are watching it, like this one duo reviewers that watched it, they did not. I don't think it really worked for them. But I just really hope they still try to attempt the second movie and do better. But I'm nervous because, like I said, Netflix has a bad reputation when it comes to their original stuff. So there's that. There's that one. And then the other book I got from the library was The Library of the Dead. And I think it was Reagan who recently read this. And this is another one I'm just going to read the description, because I don't even remember the moment what this is about. Okay, so Roba dropped out of school to become a ghost talker. And she now speaks to Ianberg's dead, carrying messages to those they left behind. A girl's got to earn a living, and it seems harmless enough. Until that is, the dead begin to whisper that someone's bewitching children, leaving them a husk of empty joy in life. It's in Roba's city, and so she feels honor-bound to investigate. But what she learns will change her world. She'll dice with death, not part of her life plan, discovering an occult library and a taste for hidden magic. She'll also experience dark times for Edinburgh Heights, a wealth of secrets. And Roba's gonna hunt them all down. So, it makes me think of, like, if Ghost Whisperer was set in kind of a fantasy world. Like a young Melinda Gordon kind of story. But, so yeah, I I hate that, but I do compare. Sometimes I do comparisons. I don't hate it, but I don't, I try not to do that, but sometimes, it's an easy way to explain a book. Like saying, it's like this and this put together. Like if this and this if these two had a baby kind of thing. It's just very easy. And I think, but I can understand why it's annoying to people. So anyway. So that's my library haul. So what have you guys been reading right now? Have you been using your library? Actually, no, wait. I was gonna say I saw a video telling people but it's actually not libraries. It was smaller independent bookstores. That's what the little video on Instagram was about, using your independent bookstore. I thought for a second it was a library, but my brain is fried right now, so it's gonna be so hard to go back to work tomorrow. But anyway, so like I said, are you using your library? Please share in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification below if you want to be notified when I post my latest videos. And I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.